Worry feels useful. That's why so many people keep doing it. It feels like you're solving something, preparing for something, protecting yourself from something. But if you're honest, most worry doesn't solve problems. It just creates new ones. You worry about tomorrow, then tomorrow comes, and the thing you worried about never happens. Or it happens completely different than you imagined. Yet you still carry the stress, the fear, the sleepless night, the mental exhaustion, and that's what makes worry so dangerous. It charges you emotionally for a problem that doesn't even exist yet. Most worry is an attempt to control the uncontrollable. You keep replaying situation in your head because you are trying to find certainty. You want guarantee, you want answers, you want to know exactly how things will turn out. But life doesn't promise that. And God never promised to reveal every details of your future. He promised His presence through it. The problem is, many of us would rather have certainty than trust, but faith has never worked that way. Think about what you're worried about now: a relationship, a future, money, your family, your health, a decision, a prayer that hasn't still been answered. Now ask yourself this: how much of that can you control? Not influence, control. Probably less than you think. Because many of the things we worry about involve people, circumstances, timing, and outcome that are completely outside of our control. Yet every day we pick them up and carry it as if it's our responsibility. And that's why we are exhausted. One of the most powerful things Jesus said about worry is found in Matthew 6. He pointed to the bed, the flowers, the creation itself, and his point was simple. If God takes care of what He created, why do you think He has forgotten about you? Notice what Jesus didn't say. He didn't say life would be easy. He didn't say problem wouldn't exist. He didn't say challenges will disappear. He said worry doesn't add any valuable thing. It doesn't make you stronger. It doesn't make you safer. It doesn't make you live long. It simply steals today's peace. Worry keeps you mentally living in a future that doesn't exist. You're having conversations that haven't happened, fighting battles that haven't arrived, experiencing failure that haven't occurred, preparing for disaster that may never come. And while you're doing all that, life is happening right now. Today is passing, moments are passing, opportunities are passing, because worry keeps pulling your attention away from where your feet actually are. When Jesus visited Martha and Mary, Martha was overwhelmed, busy, distracted, stressed, concerned about things that need to be done. Meanwhile, Mary sat at Jesus' feet. The issue wasn't that Martha was working. The issue was that her worry were consuming her. And many people live exactly that way. They are so focused on everything that could go wrong that they cannot enjoy what God is doing right in front of them. Here's why worry is addictive. It feels productive. Your mind convinces you that if you think about a problem long enough, you will somehow control the outcome. But think about your biggest worries from 5 years ago. How many were solved by worry? Probably none. Solution came from action, wisdom, prayer, patience. But worry itself really changes anything. It only joins the person carrying it. This is why many people get stuck. They want trust without surrender. They want peace without releasing control. They want freedom from anxiety while still holding on to every possible outcome. But trust and control cannot sit on the same seat at the same time. At some point, you have to decide either you carry it or you trust God with it. You cannot fully do both. Peter stepped out of the boat and walked on water. An impossible moment. Then he noticed the wind, the waves, the danger, and the fear took over. The storm became stronger in his mind than the one who called him out. That's what worry does. It magnifies the storm. It makes problems appear larger than they are. It shifts your focus away from God's faithfulness and onto fear. And eventually, what you focus on becomes what controls you. Some people think trusting God means pretending that problem does not exist. That's not faith. Faith does not deny reality. Faith acknowledges reality while remembering that God is bigger than it. The bills may be real, the uncertainty may be real, the challenge may be real, the waiting may be real, but God's faithfulness is real too. And that's what faith chooses to remember. The first step is simple. Separate responsibility from control. Do what you can do. Pray, work, prepare. Make wise decisions. Take actions where actions is possible. Then stop carrying the part that belongs to God. Because many are trying to carry outcomes they were never meant to carry, and it's crushing them. Worry thrives on what if. What if I fail? What if things get worse? What if this doesn't work out? What if I lose everything? But what if God provides? What if God opens door? What if this challenge bruises your feet? What if this delay has purpose? Your mind automatically imagines negative futures. Faith teaches you to remember God's faithfulness instead. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're tired. Not because you've been working physically, but because your mind never rests. Always thinking, always planning, always worrying, always carrying tomorrow. But hear this: you were never meant to carry the future. You were never meant to carry all the answers. You were never meant to control all outcome. That's God's job, not yours. Imagine carrying a backpack filled with rocks. Every day you add another rock, another worry, another fear, another what if. Eventually, the weight becomes unbearable. The strange thing is that many of those rocks were never yours in the first place to carry. And that's exactly how worry works. It burdens you with things that belongs in God's hands. So how do you stop worrying and trust God? You stop trying to control what only God can control. You do your part and take the next step. You make wise decision and then you release the outcome. Because peace doesn't come from knowing exactly how everything works out. Peace comes from knowing that God is faithful when you don't. The future is not in your hands, it was never was. And that is actually good news because the God who carried you yesterday is the same God who will carry you tomorrow. So put down the body and stop carrying what was never yours. And trust the one who had never stopped carrying you.